Good evening, and welcome to another scene in Edessa the Dark Crusade, and a familiar sight, shall we say. Memnon's establishment. Memnon, quite, I would say, respected neonate? Neonate of some stature in the city, who is worked, well, not to the point of exhaustion since he can't get tired anymore, but worked to the point where he has a lot on his plate, and he's about to get something more. But then again, Madeline has never been pushy when it comes to certain things, but there is more the reason than just having some work done to a particular set of armaments. Events have happened, and, well, she needs to talk to Memnon, since he perhaps does not know yet, about what just happened last night. And, well, in reality, how he has, by his work, saved her life. Again. Well, Madeline is currently just moving up, coming closer. She is, for anyone watching, a lot more careful, a lot more she's not walking in the middle of the street, just showing herself as she normally does, or not really caring to know that she's seen. Sometimes she likes being seen, let's be honest, but not tonight. Tonight she's sneaking around. Why is she doing this? Well, who knows? But she will come up to the guard and will introduce herself and ask to see if the master is home.
Just to give you, since there has been some changes, I'm presuming that after their correspondence, Memnon has directed you towards his. When you got to his reply, he said he'll be at his forge waiting for you. And though you've seen guards in both places, passing through what you know is Memnon's domain, you will notice that there's some slight changes that have occurred. There's a certain uniformity to home fronts and store fronts. It seems like everyone has new doors, and openings used as windows have been fastened. I think by now you're a little familiar with Memnon's own handiwork. Even though his domain still looks, for the most part, the same, there's a stronger sense of security about. And when you come up to his forge and you knock, you won't see that there's someone standing outside. But when you knock upon the door, you see that a latch is thrown back and a pair of eyes are looking out at you. And you could, I would say, you could recall these eyes, and they're familiar with you. Oh, yes, you, madam. 1 second, please stand back. And the latch is thrown close, and the door opens, and you can see that something like an antechamber has been built, so that there's one door for the outside and then another door for the inside. Yeah, the gentleman motions you to welcome in, and he opens the door for you, leading you into the forge. And when you pass underneath that archway, he'll close it behind you. And inside you'd see Memnon right away, and he's I don't know if you've met his new ghoul, but out of character, I believe Memnon showed you the body of the two assailants he staked and kept, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll notice that one of them is one of them is awake, but sitting down, and it looks like Memnon was instructing him in something as he's pointing at a book. You might catch the tail end of the conversation sounded like he's explaining to him certain rudimentary dynamics of smithing. But I'm sure hearing the door open and close to look your way and see. Ah,
Madeline will just say in Malise, I think that's how it's pronounced, right, in English?
I think that's the modern dialect, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
She will just say, good evening, new student.
You see that he puts a hand on his shoulder and say, "Yes, I thought I could make something better of them. Please come in, Madeleine."
Thank
you. No problem. He calls out to another person. He says, "Agamemnon, take this one in. Show him a thing or two. I will be over here talking to good company." Yeah, he'll just gesture you towards a seat and a table, a little further away from the forge itself, away from the heat where it's cool.
Yeah, as Madeline is wearing her big cloak. You've seen her once or twice carrying armor under. She removes the cloak, and what you see is what looks like giant claws, maybe? Has ripped some fairly significant holes in it. Multiple, either very, very strong or very, very sharp swords, or maybe swords that are different. Special. Just hacked at it, and she just stands there, and she kind of puts her arms out as to almost show it off.
Mm-hmm. You see a great look of. I would say Memnon kind of looks blank, deadpan, as he's seeing all the damage, the armor he recognizes, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
He will sigh and say, "I suppose you will need yet another piece."
I am afraid that is, well, the situation we find ourselves in. But rest assured, this was not done by some mortals with a grudge. This was done by a great challenge, I believe. One of the strongest things I have ever seen myself. I have news. She looks to the door. Perhaps we should sit down. And she begins to. Doesn't take long. She doesn't need help because the armor really isn't holding together.
Mm-hmm.
She takes off the armor and her normal clothes are underneath. You
Right.
can see that there is a gash. She has a bit of an exposed neckline, but there is a big gash just around her collarbone. It looks nasty, to say the least. She doesn't seem to be too fazed by it. In fact, she doesn't seem fazed by it at all.
Memnon would ask if she requires any kind of refreshment, considering.
If it is not too much to ask, I would accept your hospitality.
Of course. Let's see. Yeah, Memnon will just excuse himself for a minute. We'll go to. Should I open a dice roller room?
Oh, right. We should do that. We should do the thing with the thing. Dice roller the number 3.
about this. All right. So Memnon's actually going out and seeing if he can use the subtle powers of his dominate to try and lure a mortal into his shop, probably under the guise as, oh, I have some coin for you. I need to move some boxes and wares, or blah, 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 whatever. I think that's enough to just say got someone, probably not the most plump-looking person, probably a bum, but too diseased. I think Madeline can get a few from them.
If it is a bum, you will actually see Madeline just kind of just smile and actually almost approvingly nod at you. Almost. Again, you know that she is. In certain ways, she's a bit unlike most Ancilla, since probably a Ventrue or Toreador would be offended, but she doesn't. She actually seems to be quite the opposite. Maybe not. Maybe only slightly, but she just smiles, and we'll just talk to the man a bit, and just give him a hug, wish him the best. And as she hugs him, she will drink a little bit from him, but she doesn't take much. You can see that it's quite a peaceful affair. You know that she's done this probably a million times by now. So
Mm-hmm. Yes, and when you're done, Memnon will put some coin in his hand, and he'll describe to him all the help that he gave, and thanks him dearly. One, two. If the mortal had 5 as willpower, I think that's more than enough success to change his memory.
Yeah.
Sends him on his way.
Yeah. She gets it again. She would just say, "Well, thank you. But do you know of this person called the Wishing Woman?
Oh, yes, I am very familiar with her.
You were there when she attended with the prince."
Yes, I was the first one who tried to put a stake in her back. I remember well.
Yeah. Remember the creature you saw
Indeed.
briefly?
Oh, is that the creature that has
Yes,
undone?
that was the creature. A note that I say was, "It has dead. We slain it. But, well, it took quite a bit of work."
If you don't mind me saying, Lady Madeline, I am then proud my armor has saved you, even if it's done.
It helped. A lot. Very much, in fact. And I thank you. It was not only that, but some other trick or imagination of this ancient Cappadocian. I am not entirely sure, but there were ghosts, wraiths of some kind. They had swords that were not of this world, I believe.
Swords. Were they
Yes.
material or immaterial?
I do not know. Or at least I cannot be totally certain. But it is dead. And that is the important thing.
Yes.
One of her, she does. She doesn't do quotes in the air, but she puts in an inference on the word one of her allies, as in probably not ally, probably just uh, someone who she works with, but probably not allies,
Right.
was there. The man that's responsible for the plague not too long ago. He seemed upset, surprised that all of us lived, which is a good thing. He said that we were not supposed to be able to do what we did. I am glad to have disappointed him.
Indeed. I would like to further his disappointment, perhaps make him cry.
You do know that these are potentially all Methuselah.
What difference does it make except for powers and a difference of opinions? If they do not die, we die. It is a matter of victory or defeat.
Quite so. But a victory can be a lot harder to get once one is against such opponents. But I suppose you are right. It does not matter who they are. It is either you or them. And I believe that we both wish for it to be them. Although, there is more to it than that. The reason she was attacked, Irene is missing. And
Yeah,
I believe she has been taken by the Wishing Woman. Something is wrong, something is amiss. That is why he was attacked. Ulrich was there to assist. So,
the Prince Ulrich was there. Unfortunately,
yes.
I missed him. I must say, I'm a little disappointed that I was not invited to the foray. I suppose I couldn't have been reached at the time.
I was very close by. Luckily.
We Lasombra do have a penchant for protecting our landmates and investments, don't we?
Quite so. Fumushi and Friar Tuck, I believe he is called. The two Salubri were there too.
Well, I would say that this new alliance between the Lasombra and the Salubri are getting off to a good, solidifying start. If we could bring down the Wishing Woman and her cabal that had undone the city previously, could be an alliance forged for quite some time.
Perhaps. But I'd rather not destroy them. Their goals are directly opposite to Maru the Black, Mai the Black, whatever you call it. So, if we can have the two battle each other and weigh themselves down, our work will be all the more easy. I know this is very much easier said than done, but still.
So, this Mary the Black has found the Wishing Woman and her compatriots at odds.
They are very much in direct conflict, shall we say. This Cabal and Mary have, I believe, designs on some of the same things, but want it for themselves. And they are fighting, and they are using our city essentially as the battleground from time to time.
That is not good for business.
No, it is not.
Yeah, no, you could see like a growing frustration on Memnon's, face. He looks exasperated. I must confess, dear Shauna, that I find myself overvexed and overextended. On the one hand, as Princess Hound, I still find myself trying to become as capable as I can in that position, while in the meantime, in service to my clan, I am extending myself ever further, and my primary concern, yet not being afforded enough of the time, considering all of the events that are coming to pass. And alone, my own craft has suffered. And if you haven't noticed, now with Herman's bastards in my care, here I am, babysitting. Well, I'm not sure if babysitting is a term yet really there, but what equivalent it is, Memnon will express that.
Well, if you require them to be babysat by someone else, I am available. He smiles.
Yes, you could. Taking one off of my hand would be a great service to me. I would appreciate it.
Well, I am not. I am quite certain I will not be able to assist you in any way on Round the Forge.
Oh, I was merely showing one of them some mere skills of trade. It is a amazing thing, actually. He was an assailant of mine, only because Herman made him a victim of his own. And yet, now with him bound to me, seeing the person, the individual, I felt compelled to at least show him a better way. But I do believe the other one, because out of character, if you remember, there were two. You only saw one of them here. I suppose that they could do no better than having a tutor as you. Perhaps I might even extract a boon from them for the privilege. I mean, you can kind of sense Memnon's kidding, but, you know.
Those are the Ventru blood. That is what they are, no?
Yes, indeed.
Or do you know of if they are of noble birth or simply commoners?
Out of character, I've been asking Chris for the deets on these guys for about a month, and I still haven't gotten a response.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But Memnon will tell you anything he has learned of them personally, just to...
He'll say, well, they are of the blood. I could teach him much.
Yes, and perhaps...
If you wish for me to take him for a while.
Oh, please. It would lift a great burden upon myself. And if you need to ensure his loyalty, do as you must.
My dearest Memnon, there are so many ways of doing that.
Oh, I am certain that you know of all those ways. I am still learning.
And this is why I do not know him enough to say that I despise him, because I do not. But, honestly, Herman has lost much of my respect. Why? Because he uses dominate to everything. He is over-reliant on it. That is a problem for me. One should be able to do such things without simply forcing one's powers of the blood on someone else. There is so much you can get people to do with simply a shoulder, a voice, and sincerity.
Memnon does not quite have the graces and beauty of the present company, but I do understand what you mean. The blood was somewhat of a unforeseen circumstance, as we were assailants before. They did have a necessity of being fed and awoken from the torpor I put them in.
Not quite, but understand. I will teach him things that he might not appreciate just yet, but I will have him come around.
I leave that wisdom in your capable hands.
Thank you.
I am hoping that when finally this city comes to some sort of peace, that we can return them to the fold of the Ventrue properly. It would, I think, go a long way of establishing a long friendship between our two clans with certain members who've had tutelage under the Lasombra.
Perhaps. Well, that might very well be. But of the events, recent events, she looks down to the armor.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that events in this city will accelerate now, more so than before.
I am certain you are correct in that matter. The hospital that I have been commissioned to build is involving many, many mortal agencies and interests and nobles. I can leave the craftsmanship in the capable hands of my new blacksmith, Agamemnon, and I can make sure that its progress is going to match the quality that you've come to expect. But I would say that, considering all that is on the table, it may be a little while.
Oh, I understand. But I was going to ask you, do you require just normal laborers, able hands? Or is it craftsmen you do require?
I could use some of both. A few more skilled craftsmen would surely come in hand, but at the same time, there needs to be materials moved back and forth and things set in place that is not too difficult to prepare the work for the skilled craftsmen at hand that laborers could do.
Well, I will send out the word that able-bodied hands are with, well, for those wishing, which there are always people looking for work, will be required. I will send them your way. And you can, my guess would be the best, the illustrious Omar Shadid should be the person you would look to recruit more craftsmen on a short time scale.
Indeed. I did have a word with Omar and the Toreador Giles not too long ago, speaking of things with this new Elysium, which I as well have been asked to amend and put in addendum any thoughts I have in regards to that. As you can see, my friend, my plate is quite full. But your help
Not
goes
enough
on.
hours in the night, it seems.
No, it's not. It's a shame. I would have appreciate another architect or someone with the particular crafting skills involved in these particular projects who were of the blood.
Hmm.
Perhaps two of us together running a shift during the night could accelerate its completion.
I will ask around.
Ah, Shauna, you have come to my rescue one too many times, and I will always be thankful for that.
I'm thinking nothing of it. However, there was one thing. And she goes over to the armor,
Mm-hmm.
and she will just fish out parchment. There's probably some parchment here.
Mm-hmm.
And she will just lift up, well, the top part of the armor, and she just say, would it be possible to have either mm, a heightening of the shoulder blades or some sort of metal reinforcement? It has come to my attention that, well, one's neck is perhaps the thing that should be guarded the most from the odd sword swing.
Um, Memnon will look it over, say, it could be done, but it would possibly restrict more of your movement in ways perhaps um, not blinding you, but having to make a full body turn to see to your flanks. Perhaps what would work best, my lady, is a helm. Something, and you see that he kind of he doesn't touch her head, but he just like uses his hands to exaggerate. The helm can be built, and it can come down over your neck. This way, you have the freedom of movement for your head to see, and it's less weight on your body, but at the same time, it can protect your neck.
Well, I will leave both the design and the crafting to your capable hands. And she kisses him on the cheek. As always, thank you. And of course, I do not. I understand that you are, um, shall we say, more than overworked.
You know that it is not a trouble for me to help you. As much assistance you have given me, I only ask for your patience. That
Oh, quite, quite.
yes.
But while I do enjoy the elegance of your previous work, do you have some armor that maybe just that I could pay you for, that I could get with me now? I know it will not be the same quality, but it will be something at least.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. There is some that I do have in stock. You have seen the warehouse that I've operated, yes?
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yes. I will send one of my servants with you. And you see Memnon, he takes just a piece of parchment, he writes it out, something on it, signals guy, he gives it to him. I keep most of my finished work there. Here, take this, and when you find Yorin, he will make the transaction with you. I believe we have a piece of heavy armor. Knight's class armor is something that has to be, well, truly specified, and, well, for security reasons, I don't just leave it
It is
around.
quite all right. She smiles.
Well then, there you have it. You, of course, can pay a little now and pay a little later. Your credit is good here.
Thank you. Now, If you require, if you wish to come into contact with me, I might some of these following nights be in Timoran myself. I wish to see to Ulrich that he is all right.
If I have the spare time, I would like to accompany you.
What? I cannot guarantee that I am going, but I am thinking of it. If you wish to accompany me, sure. It is not that long a trip.
Very well.
But I will leave you to your work.
I hope your journey here was safe and untroubled.
Why? When one faces off against things one have not seen, and is quite happy to be alive, well, one cannot think to be a little bit more careful when one walks the streets.
Of course. I hope perhaps you might have noticed that I have taken some time and investment of resource to upgrade the totality of my domain, little measures. It is something that I was considering as a service to provide others. For you, Shauna, of course, if you would request such a thing, let me know.
I do not believe you need more work at the moment.
When things are available and time presents itself. Just a thought. You could, of course, always hire your own craftsman. I wouldn't take it personally, but a
Quite.
suggestion.
I will keep it in mind.
Then,
Have a very good evening. I will be looking at your wares.
Memnon smiles and he gives the guard a nod. And yeah. So he'll accompany you to Memnon's warehouse. Yorn will recognize you, of course. He'll ask you what you need, and he'll show you the heavy class of armor he has, and yeah, you know, it just has this very generic look. You could tell it's still Memnon's work, but it's nothing. There's no special touch to it.
No.
Of course.
Yeah.
And Yorn will just ask, is there any kind of payment you wish to scale? As in, he knows that you're Memnon's very special friend, so.
Yeah, she will just produce a pouch that will be quite a bit of the payment. Just what she has on her.
And he'll take it without even counting it. He'll put it aside and he'll say, "We are glad to have your business yet again, madam. I fare you well."
And after having adorned the armor, she will once again put on her very spacious black cloak and will begin to head home. And with that, I believe this scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.
Oh, that's my cue. I forget that I'm running the scene. Ha 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 ha.